Hello, welcome back to the channel. We're now at the start of March, and at the end of 2024, a lot of you will know that I had a little solo trip. Well, I say a little trip, 3 weeks in Europe, solo, in my micro camper. Here's the route we took: Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Austria, Slovenia, Italy, Switzerland, France, and then back home. And in today's video, I want to talk about some of my experiences, things that I didn't necessarily prepare for, and I'm also going to cover the full cost of 3 weeks solo traveling in my micro camper. So the first thing I'll say is every single country I went to was amazing. They all had their own little thing that made them special to me, and a lot of that was the views and the people as well, to be honest. In the whole 3 weeks, I didn't really come across many people that weren't super hospitable, friendly. Everywhere I went, I felt really welcome. It was really nice. I had some really random connections. I think that's what made the trip so special for me. Meeting Arno, who was an absolute legend at the Christmas markets in Munich. Had a few drinks with him, made me feel really welcome. Great night. I love Munich, and a lot of that is down to that man. Yeah, made it really, really interesting that night. Funny guy, shared some stories, and that's what it's all about. And then another one in Bled on the bikes, lighting up the Swan Heart thing with some random Italian ladies. That's another one that's just things you don't expect to happen, but yeah, I think I'm quite forward, quite outgoing. But yeah, it was really nice to just chat to people that, even in broken language, just experience different cultures, really. So that was, I don't want to say it was a shock, but it was a lot better than I thought it'd be. Everywhere was so welcoming. So costs. This is one that I didn't really want to sit here and total up, but I have done. So 3 weeks on my own in a micro camper. What was the cost? I'm going to break it down first, and then at the end we'll do a total. So my ferry was Dover to Calais, and then Calais Dover, £198. Not bad. Obviously it's a small van, so it's a little bit cheaper than if you had a bigger van, but yeah, I didn't think that was awful. Fuel. So I covered 2,720 miles, which is a fair bit of distance. The van did pretty well on fuel economy. I spent €296, which is roughly £248. So for 3 weeks of driving, 2,000, nearly 3,000 miles, not too bad at all. Tolls and vignettes. So obviously we all know what tolls are, but for those of you that don't know what vignettes are, they're little motorway stickers that you get in certain countries. So Switzerland, you have to have one to drive on any motorway in Switzerland. The Swiss one itself was €40. I spent a total of €110, £92 on tolls and vignettes. I didn't use a lot of tolls, so each day when I had a drive, I'd put it in without tolls, and then I put it in with tolls. And on Waze, the app that I use for my navigation, it'd also tell me how much it cost to take a toll. So if it saved me 20 minutes and I was spending €10, didn't bother. If it would save me an hour and I was spending €5, I would bother. So that's a good way. Use Waze. I'm sure a lot of other apps do the same thing as Waze and give you a price of how much the toll's going to cost. So yeah, quite cheap in terms of tolls and vignettes. And obviously if I'd have avoided Switzerland, it would have been 50 quid for the whole lot. Food and drink. Now this includes alcohol, so drinking when I was out and about, and takeaway food. I took a lot of food with me. Being veggie, it's a bit difficult in Europe, so I took in my little freezer in my fridge, I took loads of vegetarian rubbish, and I filled my cupboard with tins of beans and boiled potatoes and veg, stuff like that, just to make it a little bit cheaper. But take it with me, and then I've got loads of stuff then. Don't have to buy as much. I spent €177, which is about £148. So over 3 weeks, considering there was beer in there was mulled wine at the Christmas markets, and the odd takeaway, that's not too bad at all, I don't think, for 3 weeks. Pretty decent. So park ups are another cost. Obviously, you can stay somewhere for free most places in Europe. However, there was a few times where, obviously the time of year I went, November, December, it's a lot quieter for people camping in their vans. So I opted often to go somewhere that I knew would have other vans, i.e. paid park ups. So I did spend €257, £215 on park-ups over the 3 weeks, which when you break it down isn't too bad. I had a couple of free ones. I think the most expensive one was €25, and that was in Bled in Slovenia. Slovenia is a country where you can't park overnight for free. So yeah, they are all paid. And to be honest, Bled was my goal destination, and as you can see from this picture, it's pretty special. It was worth the money to go there and see it. I think if I went at a busier time when there's more people around, more vans around, more people parking up for the night, I think the park up cost would have been zero. I'd have felt more comfortable parked up on free park ups with other people in the summer. But yeah, there was just a few where it got dark by 4 o'clock, and I'd rather park up next to someone, pay a bit of money, than be on my own in a country that I'm not familiar with. So miscellaneous, €138, £115. So that's just on stuff like gifts that I bought. So every city I went to, I bought a magnet this year, and I'm going to start collecting magnets of cities that I go to now, just as a way to remember them. So a bit of money went into that, and then I bought a few Christmas presents. Obviously in this category as well, I put in stuff like when I went to the Residence Museum in Munich, I went to a thermal spa in Germany, stuff like that, adventures. Now I had one extra cost that I didn't expect to have, and that was some new tyres. 2 new tyres. While I was in Austria, a lot of you will know, we had some snow, and my old mud and snow tyres were not up to the task. Didn't have quite enough tread on them, so I did have to go and buy some new tyres, and that cost me €260, £217, which is a lot for tyres, but obviously they're snow tyres, they're winter tyres, and they're top of the range. And it got me to where I wanted to get to, otherwise I would have had to turn around. So it's a cost, but it was worth it. Obviously, if you're prepared for that sort of thing before you go, you won't incur that cost. So remember that. Make sure your van is ready. And think about the things that you won't think about. My parents have done a lot of Europe. They've been to a lot of these countries that I went to. However, they went in the summer when these sort of problems don't occur. You don't need good tyres because there's no snow. My total for my trip around Europe, £1,233. 1,016 without tyres. So for £1,000, I've had 3 weeks holiday all around Europe, 7 different countries, and it was amazing. I had a really, really good time. I don't think that is too pricey at all. Put it this way, tomorrow I'm going snowboarding for a week, and I've spent almost that already for a week snowboarding. Just flights, hotel, and board hire. So yeah, it's going to be a way more expensive holiday than the 3 weeks that I've had in Europe. So things that were different to what I expected. Food in supermarkets was pricier than I thought it would be. I'd say it was a bit more expensive than the UK, and drinks and stuff while you're out and about were a bit more expensive. But I kind of expected that, but some really did surprise me. I bought some chips from a little takeaway place, and they're about €9, which is mental, about £8.50. But when you're in cities, I suppose it's more expensive anyway. If you haven't seen the videos from this trip, there is about 20, I believe, and here's the playlist for the trip. If you want to go back to the start and see all of it, like I say, Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Austria, Slovenia, Italy, Switzerland, France, then yeah, go and check that out. If it's something you're planning on doing, it might give you a bit of inspiration, might help you out deciding where you want to go, and like I say, might help you out with preparing, because I wish I'd have known a couple of things that I didn't know before going. But yeah, we are back in the UK now. Plenty more videos coming soon. We've got some van tours coming. Really nice caddy on the way soon, which is actually for sale. So if anyone's interested in a micro camper themselves, that might be for you. Loads more events coming up this year and camping trips. Really looking forward to it. Bit of stealth camping as well. The van's staying for a little bit longer. I did say I was going to get a crafter, but I've absolutely loved taking this to Europe, and I feel like I need another year at least. But yeah, it's been good. If you have followed along with this journey, thank you very, very much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you very, very much for watching this video, and as always, look after yourselves.